Hello and welcome back to Harry Ball Sports. I think it was like week 4 we did a Harry's Tired After Work edition. This is the sequel to that. I am tired after work. But this is important. I have to do this. We gotta do week 14 reactions. How did I do? We gotta do week 15 reactions. How am I gonna do? Etc. I seem to have no control over how long these videos end up coming out. Like, ideally this would be a shorter one, but if that's gonna happen, I just have to start. So, Cowboys-Lions. Another very big Jahmyr Gibbs night, one of many this season. At the end of Thursday night, I was down 33-0 in the fantasy playoffs. Not a good start, terrible evening. But I did win all 3 leagues. So in case you were wondering, the playoffs are going fine now. Lions defense definitely brought the aggression in this one. 5 sacks and 2 turnovers. Pretty good fight from Dallas, but this game will just about end it for that team. Their playoff chances now sit at 10%. End of an era, really. This Cowboys team was a blast all year. I just hope they keep trying for these last few weeks, because this team can always bring some good football. I'm going to miss them come week 19. This game was what the spirit of the Poverty Bowl is all about. A game with bad teams that generally shouldn't be good, but those teams somehow play nothing like they usually do, and it's an absolute shootout, memorable time. Shedeur had a really good game. 356 yards, 4 total touchdowns, plus he looked good on the eye test, which is probably the hardest one to do. And when you look at the end of the game, actually the reason they lost was benching Shedeur. They instead tried one of the weirdest trick plays I have ever seen. Obviously it didn't work as it was intended to, but usually with a trick play you could at least tell what they were going for. For this one, I just cannot see the vision. I don't know what it was supposed to look like. Surprisingly, Myles Garrett only had 1 sack in this game, not the literal 5 that I predicted, but he's still on track to break the record. Cam Ward played okay, stayed out the way. Very, very back and forth game. Go watch the highlights. The Falcons are the newest members of the Mathematically Eliminated Club, so welcome. This game looked a lot like how it should, I guess. The better team won, and they really gave the Falcons a hard time. I mean, Kirk Cousins had just over 150 yards with 2 picks, but it is a super tough defense to play right now, so I can't blame them too much. This was a terrible day for the Colts organization. They stacked up another loss on their slip down from grace, and their star quarterback, can I call him a star quarterback, is now out for the year with injury, which is a real shame. Also, selfishly, it's a real shame for me, because I'm going to Colts Seahawks this weekend, and I was pretty excited to see him play. It sucks to see Rome fall, but rarely does a team start that hot and maintain it all year, so it was not inevitable, but like, it's not unheard of. The Jags are now winning the division somehow. I think they'll get talked down on a little bit less this offseason, which I'm sure that organization's excited about. Honestly, I cannot believe they played Jayden Daniels in this game. That's an absurd choice to me. There was zero reason to do that, and he got injured again instantly. So all the risk in the world for what reward, too? What were you trying to get out of this? Just reps? Not only that, they got shut out by a team that did this last week. In my opinion, this is a fire your head coach kind of performance, or at least talk about it. This game for the Bengals was interesting. It kind of looked like the entire Colts season compressed into one game. They started out super hot and impressive and flashy and had people talking. Then they hit some sort of invisible wall and it was downhill very, very quickly. It obviously killed their momentum, it killed their season, and it just looked really, really bad. This also approaches fire your coach territory as far as I'm concerned, but this team has been teetering on the edge of that for a long time now. It's gotta happen eventually. He can't last 2 more years, right? This game dramatically affects my view of the Buccaneers. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Believe it or not, I still thought pretty highly of the Bucs, and this was the best performance the Saints have put on all year, but you cannot lose this game. And your guys are all back now too, so there's really no excuse either. Thing is though, this is kind of bad for both teams, because 1, the Bucs did that, but 2, the Saints might get tricked into playing Tyler Shuck for a lot more than they have to. Like, if he has moments like that, they might be convinced that he's the guy, and, like, he's not the guy. So I just hope they can see through the facade that is the few wins they got. I know when you're a team like this, they can really mean a lot to you and kind of cloud your vision. So just keep your wits about you and figure it out in the draft. You might notice I've been getting a lot of these games wrong. We're not hearing the boom sound effect that usually plays when I make a prediction correct. It does get better from here, but not by that much, I'll be honest. DK Metcalf is a monster out there. He's the kind of guy where if he's mossing your DB, you can't even really get mad because what was that guy supposed to do? How is he supposed to guard him? And we've completely lost the consistency of this Baltimore offense. It's just gone now. We still see flashes of what made them great, what made this team work, but it just doesn't really happen a lot anymore. Few and far between. Okay, play the sound effect. I got this one right. The 15-year Jets playoff drought will continue officially. Yay, Jets. They're also now starting their 3rd string quarterback. I wonder how many total quarterbacks will play this season. It's got to be like 50 plus considering all the injuries. And just so we're on the same page, the Dolphins now share a record with the Chiefs. Just let that sink in. So next time you're praising the Chiefs or hating on the Dolphins, know that they are not far apart. And yeah, the Dolphins got to beat up on the Jets twice this year, but the Chiefs got to beat up on the Raiders twice, so, they're even. First things first, sound effect. This game was a lot closer than I expected it to be, but besides that, not too much to say here. Bo Nix threw 0 touchdowns, but RJ Harvey might be taking up the head of this offense because Bo Nix certainly is not going to do it himself. I'll say I like the clock management, though, and the defense from Denver in this one. They play a lot of smart football, and I like that for this team because if you're going to go to the playoffs without a high-power offense, you kind of have to play smart football. They have a lot of really, really close games that still kind of remain in their control the whole time. I can't really tell how I feel about that, but they keep winning them, so. Puka and Stafford were back to it on this one after a very weird game last week. The Panthers really bring out the worst in teams. We saw this with the 49ers, too. I'll say there's really just not much you can do against this Rams team. Kind of like guarding DK Metcalf, you really can't be too pissed you lost because what were you supposed to do? They have a very balanced offense, which I think allows them the big splash plays that kind of makes this team what it is. And like the Broncos, they just play smart. This team is built to go in the postseason. If I'm the Rams, I'm starting to think about gradually starting to bench people to avoid injuries. Because I know the Colts and the Commanders wish they could have had their guy out. I think if they had this record, they would be playing it a little closer to the chest, at least I hope. This is a statement win for Green Bay. Happy for them. The late game interception is really what sealed this one, but the Packers defense was flying around all night. The pressure was there. I liked how the safeties played. It was inevitable they find a turnover. It just happened to come at the best time, or the worst time depending on where you live, I guess. This division continues to give us some of the best football all year, like week after week. I'm liking Caleb a lot more as the season goes on. He does still kind of play hero ball like every other play, but it's working enough at the time to keep letting him do it. He loves to escape the pocket and run to his right. It's like 60% of the game plan for him. But that athleticism and the big play potential is definitely there. I can see the vision. I think if he can hone some of the other young quarterback stuff that kind of prevents him from succeeding, he can be a really great QB. Basically, that's just mindset, reading the defense better. I think he definitely has the work ethic and the confidence to do it, but any young QB is going to have those issues. And even though Jordan Love has a lot more success than he does and generally plays better, I don't really see him in the same way. The ceiling on Caleb really stands out to me in a way that Jordan Love kind of doesn't. This was the worst game of Mahomes' career, and Travis Kelce's. And I would say Andy Reid, but I refuse to do enough research to confirm that. He's been in the league for so long, that would take hours. Some bad luck definitely played a role here, but it was a really tough loss. I mean, they made mistakes. They fizzled out in the red zone. They looked stressed. The defense did generate some good pressure, but it just wasn't enough this time. And I'll say the Texans are a rising threat. I'm not sure they're in a great position, though. They're a playoff-worthy team, but I don't think they're going to win really anything, which means no shot at the ring and no good draft picks. They're kind of in limbo, like the Steelers have been, being like 9-8, 10-7. Good seasons technically, but having a pretty good season doesn't really get you anywhere in this league, unless you're using it as a stepping stone to a Super Bowl year, but I don't think I can confidently say the Texans are. This was quite a game. The Chargers usually bring the boring, but not on this one. The triple turnover really stood out to me. You very rarely see a three-bagger. Contender for the worst play of the year. Contender for one of the worst plays I've ever seen. This demolished a friend of mine in fantasy who I was playing. It was -8 fantasy points on one play. That should be impossible. I'm the commissioner. When I set up the league, I did not anticipate that as a possibility, but Jalen Hurts found a way. And that's not even the whole story. He had 4 picks total. Herbert kind of played mid, but with 4 extra possessions, it's a really good place to find yourself. Jim Harbaugh looked very, very excited after this game. Happy for him. Chargers kind of find themselves in the same role as the Texans, where, yeah, you're going to make the playoffs, but you're not going to go deep. And not that that's a waste of a year. You want to have years when you make the playoffs 100%, but I just can't see this being a very good building block to anywhere. I mean, a team shouldn't just try to be bad as long as they can until they finally have the team they think they can win with, but it's just not that great to stay stagnant. Look at the Steelers. They have not won anything in a long time. Besides the division this year, maybe. Anyways, if you did the math during this video, you would have figured out that I went 5-9 this week, which does not feel good on top of being tired from work, like pick one, you know? That brings my record to 139-69. Still fine with that. I know 1 week doesn't make a lot of difference, but that is trending in the wrong direction. In an effort to fix that, let's go on to week 15. Falcons-Bucks is live right now. I'm watching it down here, and it has not looked like a lot of great football. I will say that I've been seeing a lot of offense. I don't know how it's 0-7. These are two teams I'm very disappointed in right now. Like I said with the Bucks losing to the Saints, but the Falcons did that too, so I don't know, at least the Bucks have their starting quarterback in a lead. I guess I'll throw it to the Buccaneers. That'll be one of very few times I pick them again this year, so I guess enjoy it, Bucks. But I'm really doing it because I have no choice here. Ravens-Bengals should be a blast. We just saw this matchup a couple weeks back during Thanksgiving, and we know both these teams are very prone to making big mistakes. I mean, look at what the Ravens did the last time they played, and look at what the Bengals did last week. This is a pretty tough one to call, but I want to lean towards the Ravens. The Ravens definitely have more to lose on this one, especially after coming off that loss to the Steelers last week to lose first place in the division. I think those emotions will definitely affect the game here. This feels a lot like Bears-Packers did last week, where it's a very honest matchup, and in that one I just took the home team and it served me well. So I think I'll use the same strategy here. Cincinnati. I think what we saw from the Eagles last week is the exception, not the rule. Very rarely can you have a game like that and a play that bad. And this Raiders team can't do anything, right? I'll give it to the Eagles at home. Texans are skyrocketing right now. I can see this defense creating 4+ turnovers in this game. take the Texans easily. This was a really, really fun game at the beginning of the season. We saw Justin Herbert kind of have his hero moment. And while I don't think this Chargers defense is super special, I do not like what I've been seeing from the Chiefs. I mean, Travis Kelce's dropping passes. Mahomes looks frazzled in the pocket. And so when you're spiraling out like that, especially after the last few years, I would just assume that trend's going to continue. I think I'll take LA. This will be another great game. I think this year is the most exciting this matchup's really ever been. It's actually competitive right now. There was a long time there where Brady would just do whatever he wanted to the Bills. Then Buffalo had their turn with like the Mac Jones versus Josh Allen era. But now it's competitive again and could go either way. Earlier when the Pats beat the Bills this season, it came as a huge shock to everyone. But at this point in the season, I don't think that would be super surprising. Thing is, these teams are probably going to play each other in the playoffs. So this game might act as a good way to feel each other out before that matchup. Just kind of feels inevitable. While I think these offenses are pretty on par with each other, I can't say I love the Bills' defense. I know the stat line looked really good last week, but kind of like the Eagles game, that was an anomaly. That was the exception. I mean, those turnovers were pretty abnormal. You can't like try and repeat that. So give me the Pats. I saw something crazy like this is the first time the Jags have been favored in a game since 2013 or something. That might be totally wrong, but I feel like I remember seeing that somewhere. And honestly, that would make sense. They've been a despicable franchise for a long time, and now they're playing a more despicable franchise in the Jets. So, and this is your classic third stringer quarterback game. So we could potentially see a crazy blowout. I tried to think of one, but there's genuinely no reason to even consider picking the Jets. So I'll take Jacksonville. The Commanders starting Marcus Mariota again, I think, in this one. Because, again, they put in Jaden Daniels for no reason just after an injury, meaning he'll take even longer to heal this time. I'm still pissed about that. At least the Giants have their starting QB. Yeah, there's a lot of bad injuries there too, but that helps. I don't think Terry McLaurin alone is going to save this Commanders team. Plus, he's not really been himself this year. I mean, part of that's Jaden Daniels not being there, but it's just been a down year for him. I think this does qualify as a poverty bowl at this point. Man, it's a real shame what happened to this Commanders team. I talk about the Colts having a steep fall off, but this team had me very, very excited in the offseason. Although looking back, I can't see why, I guess. I liked 4 of their players and they had a crazy run last year. That's kind of all it was. But we are all subject to mirages. I think I want the Giants in this one. I like the vibes in that team a little better right now, and I feel like I trust the coaching staff more. Plus, they can run the ball a bit more effectively, so if it ends up being close, they'll have the clock management on their side. Give me the Giants. Last week was very weird. The part of the Browns that usually works didn't, and the part of the Browns that never works did. But my main takeaway there is this Browns defense is human. They're not some impenetrable wall built on magic. It'd be very cool to go see Shador beat a team who was at the top of the conference last week, which, by the way, with the loss last week, the Bears went from number 1 in the NFC to number 6. That had to be tragic to realize after the game. While I give the Browns a good chance to stay in this game for 3 quarters, I just can't see them beating the Bears. The Bears look far too put together right now. And if anyone's going to expose that defense again, it is Ben Johnson and his offense. Let's just hope Caleb Williams can avoid Myles Garrett, because his body looks frail to me. It's kind of a weird comment, but I just feel that way. Give me the Bears. Honestly, the Saints keep doing it. The Saints have shown that it can happen. This Panthers team is very, very up and down, and so I am genuinely considering the Saints as a pick here. Last week being that bad makes me not want to take chances, but I think I will take chances here. Very out of character for me. It goes against my whole MO here, but I'm tired from work, so whatever. I will pick the New Orleans Saints to win this game. This should be a very exciting one. 2 good offenses, 2 good defenses, 2 great coaches. Lots of big play potential here. These teams are constructed pretty similarly, actually. And there's some history here with the quarterback swap that happened a few years back. This is both a Matthew Stafford and a Jared Goff revenge game. I don't think that trade sits with these guys too hard anymore. It's been enough time and they're professional, so I don't think it's a big grudge match or anything. But they both have a weapon that seems unstoppable. Puka and Jahmyr Gibbs are just insane at what they do. They're just good at football. And I'll say LA has no home field advantage, so there's nothing to pull from there. This isn't a scientific argument at all, but I feel like the Lions are due for a bad game. And the thing is, they could play a good game and still lose against the Rams. I'm going to pick the Rams, and I want to see 80 points in this game. That could happen. Like I said, I'm going to this game. Very, very excited. My first NFL game in person. It is a shame I don't get the real Colts experience with Daniel Jones. But that means I get to watch this elite defense prey on a backup quarterback. Don't even know the guy's name. Doesn't matter. This is going to be loud. It's going to be cold. It'll probably be wet. There is a situation where this one goes to the Colts, though. Every now and again, Sam Darnold has a game where he throws 4 picks and like 150 yards and looks terrible for no reason, seeing ghosts. And we know Jonathan Taylor can put up 28 points himself. So if both those things happen, if those Venn diagrams overlap on Sunday, there is a chance the upset could be there. But I'm rooting for the home team. Give me the Seahawks. This is another really good game. 2 teams with definite flaws, but that are thought of very highly, and they deserve to be. I think this Packers defense is good enough that the mediocre Broncos offense might struggle more than they usually do. I mean, yeah, the Broncos defense can probably hold the Packers to 18, but can Bo Nix score 19 against Micah Parsons? I don't think he can. I think this is my game of the week, even over Rams Lions, because both these teams are good. They're in kind of the same tier, but they're very different in the way they're constructed. We'll just kind of have to see which style works better here. I like Jordan Love to do enough here. Give me the Packers. Interesting game from the Titans last week for sure, but I mean, come on. 49ers at home. Give me that. We know I love this Cowboys team. They're very exciting. And this Vikings team is very confusing. And that combination makes this a super fun game. She woke up. I don't like inconsistency as a trait in a team whatsoever. Cowboys have given me way too many highlights this season to pick against them here. Give me Dallas. Dolphins Steelers is fun. I think if I didn't pay as much attention to the Dolphins these last couple weeks, I would pick the Steelers easily here. But they are looking a lot better. They're looking a lot more like a real team. Again, same record as the Chiefs. And yes, they're winning the division now, but the Steelers team isn't some, high and mighty force. They're also very up and down week to week. But like the last game, I don't like inconsistency, and that's what the Dolphins are. Inconsistency in a generally positive direction recently, but it's Tua Tagovailoa in the cold, which historically is not a good place for him to play. I'm going to lean towards the Steelers. And with that done, that is week 15. Thank you for watching. Coming back every week, I certainly do appreciate it. Happy I still find the time to do this when I'm tired. Definitely harder on a day like this, but I committed to this, and I will see it through. Harry Ball Sports doesn't quit, doesn't give up. I'll be back next week with hopefully a better record. Harry Ball Sports.